Lions fans, you can feel it in the air right now. That uneasy mix of pride, frustration, and raw anticipation that only comes when you know this season's story just took a turn we didn't plan for. This is Lions News Fan Report. And if you believe our grit and depth are about to be tested in ways that could forge a champion or break a contender, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's talk about what's really going on in Allen Park. Because make no mistake, the last 48 hours have been a gut punch to a defense that's been built brick by brick, forged in the bruises of last year's playoff push, and now finds itself looking in the mirror with two key young defenders sidelined, one already headed to injured reserve, the other looking at a while before we see him back on the field. This isn't just about a couple of names on the injury report. It's about momentum, chemistry, and the kind of depth every contender swears they have until the first cracks appear. Dan Jackson was fighting for his place in his secondary, flashing in camp, giving us 36 defensive snaps and 14 special teams reps in his preseason debut. The kind of hungry, seventh-round grit that turns into a fan favorite when it clicks. Now he's looking at the cruel reality of IR in August, and unless the Lions pull an injury settlement magic trick, his rookie year might be over before it truly began. And then there's Ennis Rakestraw Jr., a guy we've been waiting to see break out after a rookie season stolen by injuries. Now holding his shoulder after a one-on-one drill and facing yet another uphill climb just to get back on the grass. You can hear it in Dan Campbell's voice. This isn't about blame. It's about bad luck, and the Lions have had enough of that to last a decade. Throw in Dominic Lovett leaving with an abdominal issue, Pat O'Connor limping from a special teams drill, Jamarco Jones rolling his ankle with the first-team offense, and Broderick Martin nowhere in sight. And you've got a practice that reads more like a triage report than a training camp update. And yet, even with the air heavy from all that, there's a spark in the conversation, because when your roster takes hits like this, it forces you to look outside, to scan the horizon, for that one piece that could not only fill the gap, but change the entire tone of the season. Could this be the moment Brad Holmes makes the call that shifts the NFC North race? Is there a chance the Lions pivot from patching holes to making a statement? Because history tells us, from the Steelers adding Micah Fitzpatrick in 2019 to the Rams trading for Von Miller in 2021, that the right defensive move at the right time can take a contender and turn it into a champion. And with our pass defense still looking for that extra edge, with the front seven just one nightmare matchup away from being truly feared, you have to wonder if the missing piece is already out there, waiting, just a phone call away. Imagine plugging in a proven, relentless game changer into this defense right now, someone who brings not just sacks but swagger, who turns every third down into a Ford Field roar you can feel in your ribs. The injuries are real. The stakes are high, and the clock is ticking. And if the Lions are going to make a move, it might just have to happen before the rest of the league smells the same blood in the water we do. So the question is, are we about to watch Holmes pull the trigger? If you believe the Bears are finally waking up and staring destiny right in the face, hit that like button. Drop your wildest predictions in the comments, and let's finish what we started. Because what's on the table right now isn't just a roster upgrade. It's a complete rewriting of who the Chicago Bears are in this league. Imagine it. Micah Parsons, the most feared defensive player in football, lining up in navy and orange, stalking quarterbacks under the unforgiving glare of a December sky at Soldier Field. This isn't just about adding another piece to the puzzle. This is about taking the entire board, flipping it over, and daring the rest of the NFL to try and keep up. We've seen what happens when the Bears have a game wrecker. History tells us it changes everything. In 2018, Khalil Mack turned our defense into a nightmare for offensive coordinators. And even with flaws elsewhere, his presence alone carried us to 2 playoff runs in 3 years. Now picture a player younger, faster, and even more disruptive. A guy who hasn't even hit his ceiling yet. Parsons isn't just a sack artist. He's a one-man momentum swing. Last season alone, he racked up double-digit sacks for the third straight year, led the league in quarterback pressures, and still found ways to blow up run plays like a middle linebacker. Opposing offenses spent entire weeks game planning just to try and neutralize him and still fail. Now drop him into a division where Jared Goff had all day to throw last year, where Jordan Love picked defenses apart from clean pockets, and where Kirk Cousins, if healthy, will be looking to carve up secondaries. You change that equation. You change the NFC North. And make no mistake, the ripple effect would be seismic. Parsons on the edge means Hutchinson isn't the only monster in the division. And for once, it's Detroit worrying about our pass rush instead of the other way around. It means turnovers, short fields for Caleb Williams, and a defense that can win games outright when the offense stumbles. Think about how that would feel, walking in the Soldier Field knowing the defense isn't just capable of holding the line, but of breaking the opponent's will before halftime. The price will be steep, sure. Jerry Jones will want multiple first-round picks, maybe a young starter or two. But what's the alternative? Playing it safe? Hoping the draft produces someone even half as dominant, knowing full well the odds are against it? We've played that waiting game for years, watching other teams go bold while we settle for potential. And the truth is, windows in the NFL don't stay open long. Caleb's rookie deal gives us financial flexibility right now that disappears in a heartbeat once you start paying a franchise quarterback. Parsons isn't just a luxury. He's a move you make when you smell blood in the water. The NFC isn't loaded with unbeatable juggernauts. It's there for the taking if you have the guts to grab it. Imagine the headline: Bears land Parsons, signal end of rebuild. Picture the first snap with him on the field. The roar. From the crowd, the left tackle sweating before the ball is even snapped. The quarterback's eyes darting, knowing what's coming. That's not just football. That's intimidation. That's identity. We've been chasing that feeling since '85, flirting with it in flashes, but never sustaining it. Parsons could be the anchor that brings it all back. And for the fans, for every one of us who's worn the jersey through cold nights and crushing losses, it would be the moment we finally get to stand up and say, the monsters of the Midway are back. The opportunity is right there, dangling like a turnover begging, to be scooped and run back for 6. And the truth is, moments like this don't come around often. A generational defensive player potentially available when your roster, your cap space, and your competitive window are all perfectly aligned. Miss it now, and you risk looking back in 3 years wondering why we hesitated. Because let's be real, no team ever regretted going all in when the move brought them rings. Ask the Rams if they'd trade their all-in 2021 run for a handful of draft picks. Ask the Buccaneers if betting the farm on Brady wasn't worth it when the confetti fell. This is our shot to flip the narrative, to stop being the team people point to as a rebuild in progress and start being the team they fear in January. And beyond the stats, beyond the wins, think about the message it sends to the locker room, that the organization is willing to swing for greatness, that they believe in this core enough to double down. That's the kind of belief that fuels a run, the kind that makes rookies play like vets and vets play like legends. Parsons in navy and orange would be more than just a signing. It would be the declaration that Chicago football is done waiting. Its turn. The only question is whether Ryan Poles is ready to make that declaration, because the moment is right here, and it's roaring in our faces.